What is going on, everybody? Yes, it's Miss JCF and I am on podcast. And I love it. Thank you for listening to Hear Me Show. This podcast is about the characteristics of contemporary literature. I want you to know and create a life on your own terms. We always have a choice. In the end, you can be your own trophy. How do you want to be remembered? Someone who had a life or someone who truly lived by their own design? So join me as I am going to share with you this course for you to know some ways in making your story. Let's begin! What is contemporary literature? The word contemporary means living, belonging to, or occurring in the present. So when we talk about contemporary literature, we are talking about literature that is being written in the now about the now. But what does the now encompass? Contemporary literature is defined as literature written after World War II through the current day. While this is a vague definition, there is not a clear-cut explanation of this concept. Only interpretation by scholars and academics. While there is some disagreement, most agree that contemporary literature is written completed after 1940. The writers are looking for trends that illuminate societal strengths and weaknesses to remind society of lessons they should learn and questions they should ask. So when we think of contemporary literature, we cannot simply look at a few themes or settings. Since society changes over time, so do the content and messages of this writing. When we talk about contemporary literature and the start date of this label, we have to acknowledge World War II and the surrounding events. The horrors of the war, including bombs, ground wars, genocide, and corruption are the pathways to this type of literature. It is from these real-life themes that we find the beginning of a new period of writing. The word refers to both poetry and prose, where prose includes works of fiction such as novels and novellas, essays, and dramatic works. This term also refers to the quality of writing. In order to be considered literature, a written work must uphold the highest writing standards and contain a particular beauty and style. Many literary works became socially relevant and have the power to influence the public. Now, what is really the role of contemporary literature? Contemporary literature can be considered to be the history of the present. Contemporary literature performs the role of creating the right passage to present-day history, which is still in the process of making. The points of importance of contemporary literature are: first, it reflects the social and political viewpoints of society. Second, it talks about the strengths and weaknesses of society and the social evils of society currently. Third, reader comes to understand how people are viewing the world. Fourth, contemporary literature reflects what others are thinking. Fifth, reading contemporary literature provides us with an opportunity to understand people's reactions to the present society. And now, let us go to the characteristics of contemporary literature. Contemporary literature is characterized by reflecting a new vision of the world, reflecting a break in traditional customs and beliefs. New literary genres are emerging that are mixed with different writing techniques and play with the limits between reality and fiction. Contemporary works also represent the inner world of the characters, their unconscious and subconscious. The characteristics of contemporary literature are follows. We have here the personal point of view. These characteristics showcases and describes the social and political views of the author. The author expresses their personal opinions through the dialogues of characters and tries to link those messages with the socio-political events in the works and reality. Second, we have innovative narrative resources. This characteristic is quite dynamic than previous literature trends. Contemporary writers use tools like modification of time and presenting the character's inner world in their narration style to provide more insight and drama. Next, we have magical realism. This characteristic is of the style of magical realism that is considered to be the hallmark of contemporary literature. This technique of using magical realism is revolutionary and marked by social and political character. Next, we have the pressing issues. Contemporary literature often tends to revolve around the pressing issues in the world, which can include racism, inequality, economic gap, corruption, mental illness, dogma, globalization, digitalization, etc. Another one is the influence of World War II. Contemporary literature is considered the literature produced after the Second World War. Naturally, contemporary literature tends to be influenced by many themes and motifs revolving around World War II. The last characteristics of contemporary literature is the superimposition of fiction and non-fiction. The distinction between fiction and non-fiction often becomes blurry in contemporary literature. This is referred to as crosses. Fiction writers often use authentic material and information in their stories and make many parallels to real-life events. On the other hand, non-fiction writers use dialogue and imaginary scenarios to arouse and maintain the reader's interest. That's all for the characteristics of the contemporary literature. I hope you guys learned something from it. For some of you, this may be the last time you will see each other, but before we part ways, I need you to remember that we all have our own choice to create a good story, to design a good story of our own. You deserve to express all your thoughts and ideas. I believed in you. You can do it. I know that. Thank you for allowing me to be part of your day. I enjoy each and every second with you. Have an amazing day and I'll see you on the next one.